I'm a career woman, yet I've been confined to bed at home for months after giving birth. I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom, but my son is still too young and needs his parents' constant care. That's when my devoted husband stepped up, offering to switch places with me, staying home to look after our child while I returned to work. Grateful for my husband's sacrifices, I returned to the business world and fought fiercely for him, even going to great lengths to fulfill my filial duties. Coming home late at night to see my son sleeping peacefully, I felt deeply content. But then came my son's babbling voice, "Mommy, don't let Daddy fool you. He's not staying home to take care of me at all. Daddy's a jerk. He's fooling around with the nanny every day, and now I can't even eat or sleep properly." I stared wide-eyed, scrutinizing my son's mouth. It hadn't moved at all. So where did the sound come from? It must have been my imagination. My husband Carter is famously henpecked. He reports everything to me voluntarily and has never hidden anything from me. Everyone around me envies me for having such an obedient and handsome husband. "Honey, you must be tired after work. Go wash up and get some rest. Give me the baby, I'll change his diaper. I've got this down pat now." I didn't leave. He stood by watching Carter change our son's diaper. "Don't let our son's slim build fool you, he's probably full. I've nursed him several times today. Honey, before you head out tomorrow, you absolutely must pump extra milk and store it in the fridge." Carter chattered away at me while expertly changing the diaper. Seeing him like this, I became even more certain that what I'd heard earlier must have been an auditory hallucination. I must have been working too hard, pushing myself to the point of exhaustion that my mind was playing tricks on me. So I turned to go wash up, but just as I reached the doorway, that whiny little voice piped up again, "Mommy, don't go. This mean Daddy made me wear something really uncomfortable. Don't believe his act, Mommy." Immediately after, my son's loud wails filled the room. I rushed back and reached out to pick him up. Carter stopped me. "Our son just loves to cry and fuss, he'll calm down soon. Honey, you must be exhausted. Go rest. I'll take care of him here. The night nanny will be here shortly, she'll put him to sleep." Seeing my son's tear-stained face, maternal instincts welled up inside me. I scooped him up and held him close, soothing him with gentle words. His crying instantly softened, though he kept kicking his legs against my chest. Remembering the earlier sound, I immediately started peeling off his diaper. Sure enough, beneath the neatly fastened diaper, my son's bottom was tightly constricted. In that moment, I began to believe that what I'd heard wasn't an auditory hallucination, but the silent cry of my nonverbal son. So Carter, my beloved husband, really did cheat? Feeling my complicated gaze, Carter defended himself. He was crying and fussing so much earlier that the little brat ended up pulling his clothes off inside. But it's no big deal, he's dressed properly now. This little guy just loves to mess around with people. While fastening my son's diaper, I fought back my emotions. Moments later, I said to Carter without showing any emotion, "Go wash up and get some rest first. I want to spend some quality time with my son. I've been so busy with work lately that I've missed him terribly." Hearing this, Carter leaned in and kissed me before cheerfully leaving our son's bedroom. I promptly closed the door, undid my clothes, and fed our son, who eagerly sucked at my breast. After all, having personally cared for my son for 3 months, I knew he was genuinely starving. I covered my mouth and cried bitterly, my heart aching. That night, after washing up, I slept right there in my son's room with him. The night nanny also slept in the small bed in the room. After my questioning, the nanny also admitted that she'd noticed something was off with the boy lately. Every night when she came over, he was always starving and in a terrible state. Early the next morning, I left for work as usual. When the security guard at our residential complex sent me a message, I immediately opened the live feed from the pinhole camera in my son's room. Our upscale neighborhood has strict security protocols, requiring daily visitor registration for every household. So when I left home that morning, I asked the security guard to keep an eye out and notify me immediately when my daytime nanny arrived to register for entry. Not long after, the pinhole camera footage showed that woman fully disguised in a hat and sunglasses, accompanied by my husband Carter. In the footage, the two paid no attention whatsoever to their son wailing in the bassinet, instead indulging in sweet nothings and playful banter. Carter couldn't contain his eagerness. "You little minx, you're finally here. I've been thinking about you all night." The woman snorted, "Humph. Doesn't your wife keep you company at night? And you still have time to think about me." Carter started getting handsy. "My sweet little darling, you're the only one in my heart. Look how hard I'm trying to be all over you, I've even neglected the company." The woman feigned reluctance. "Cut it out, stop trying to sweet-talk me. Your mother's such a formidable shrew. You want her to make enemies so she can fulfill your family conglomerate's IPO ambitions. Then you'll just reap the benefits and win people over." Carter immediately mounted her. "That little mouth of yours just won't shut up, watch me teach you a lesson." Tears welled up in her eyes as she watched the unbearable scene. Originally, hiring 2 nannies to take turns watching our son was Carter's scheme to deceive me, all so he could run off with that other woman. My blood felt like it had turned into a million icy spikes piercing my body, leaving me in unbearable agony. 5 minutes later, the lewd sounds from the video abruptly ceased. The woman cooed, "Honey, did you enjoy that? Since you're satisfied, now it's my turn to have some fun. Remember our 7-day shopping trip to Hong Kong? You better take me there soon." Carter kissed her while reassuring her, "Don't worry. My confidant briefs me daily on the company's IPO progress. We'll all be heading to Hong Kong soon. She really knows how to get things done in her career." The woman nestled into Carter's embrace, tracing her fingers across his chest as she cooed, "Then she might use the excuse that this silly little doll is too small to travel far, and not let you and the silly little doll go to Hong Kong." Carter was confident, "Don't worry, I know her. She'd never leave me and the little one behind. For something as big as the company going public, she'll definitely want us both there." His son must have been extremely hungry, as his cries grew much louder than before. Carter finally got out of bed and half-heartedly popped the pacifier into his son's mouth. Seeing this, my heart ached even more. I immediately called the night nanny, instructing her to come to the house right away to take care of the child. I specifically told her to tell Carter that she was going to work herself, and under no circumstances should she mention me. Seeing the night nanny appear on the surveillance footage, I finally let out a sigh of relief and began to cry uncontrollably without restraint. Only when I cried until no more tears remained did I finally feel alive again. I also came to a complete realization: the one who should be suffering unbearably is the one who betrayed genuine feelings. After wiping the tears from my face, I headed straight for the company's finance office and found my trusted associate. I had her pull up the company's financial statements. Once I calculated all the company's available funds, a plan began to form in my mind. My phone rang again. This time it wasn't someone from the company calling me, but Carter's parents. After dumping their failing company on me, the old couple set off on a worldwide pleasure cruise. Last year, they returned home exhausted from their travels and started looking for trouble everywhere. Today it's either body aches or a bad mood, whatever it takes to placate these two before they'll settle down. I answered the call with a blank expression as Aria's sharp voice snapped, "Hey, Emily, have you lost your mind? Today's my girls' team building day. Didn't you call the helicopter?" Derek's furious roar came through the phone. "Have you finally scheduled the top-tier surgery my friend needs at that major UK hospital? Did you actually book that top-tier surgeon? Go find your precious son." I hung up immediately and blocked both their numbers. Sure enough, Carter called me shortly after, but I just silenced my phone. "Honey, what's wrong with you? How could you hang up on Mom and Dad? Honey, you've always been the most devoted to Mom and Dad. You've always treated them with such respect and devotion." So Carter knew I treated his parents like my own. How could he betray me like this? My parents passed away early, so I've always treated Carter's parents with the same devotion as my own. When I saw them unable to eat because their family company was facing bankruptcy, I put forward all my savings, including the inheritance left to me by my parents, and that's what ultimately saved their family business. After that, they set their sights on my patents and my capabilities, claiming that since I was their daughter-in-law, I should manage the company. But I never imagined they were merely treating me like a high-level employee, making me work myself to the bone on the outside to generate wealth for them, while they sat back and reaped all the benefits. At that thought, I gritted my teeth and forced a smile. Honey, with the company going public, I really don't have time to deal with Mom and Dad. Did you know? Today, because my parents kept calling and bothering me, I almost cost the company a major investor. I had no choice but to hang up on them and temporarily block their numbers. Carter grew impatient and leaned in to ask, "Really? Did you manage to keep that last big spender?" I looked utterly aggrieved. I had to talk his ear off just to convince him to stay. He was furious at first, saying I didn't value him, but eventually he reluctantly forgave me. Carter immediately pulled me close, his voice filled with heartache. "Honey, I wronged you." Just then, Carter's phone rang. He answered it, and a very loud voice came through the phone. "Carter, have you disciplined your wife yet? Bring her over here to face the family rules. She's been utterly outrageous and completely out of control. You think just because you run the company, you can start bossing us around? Don't you know who the real controlling shareholder is? Does this company have anything to do with her? Does she even own a single share?" Carter shot me a guilty glance before clutching his phone tightly and snapping at his parents. "Mom and Dad, just shut up. Stop causing trouble for me. Fine, I'll come see you in person tomorrow. Just give me a break." After hanging up, Carter tried to placate me again. "Honey, don't be angry. Tomorrow I'll personally go teach Mom and Dad a lesson and give them a good talking to." I had no time to deal with him and headed straight for my son's room. Seeing the evening nanny coaxing my son, who was giggling happily in her arms, I finally relaxed. Carter immediately followed and explained, "The evening nanny just happened to be on her way by, so she came a bit early." Hee hee. Oh. Looks like he didn't want me to know the evening nanny was willing to work a full day, lest it spoil his sweet rendezvous with his little sweetheart. Oh my. Honey, household chores like this are all your responsibility now. I really don't have time to worry about it. If the two nannies working in shifts can't take good care of our son, why not hire a few more? More hands make light work, and we're not short on money, right? After hearing what I said, Carter's mouth practically split from ear to ear. I continued, "Honey, right now I need to focus all my energy on getting the company listed. Please don't burden me with anything else, I really don't have the bandwidth to handle it." After saying that, I rubbed my head. Carter immediately reassured me, "Don't worry, honey. Leave everything else to me. I'll take good care of our home and our son." Carter swore up and down, but soon my son's voice reached my ears. "Mom, don't believe that crooked dad's lies." I heard him mutter to himself that once you take the company public and take good care of Grandpa and Grandma, he'll get me a young and pretty new mom. "Mom, you won't be able to see me then, so you absolutely mustn't let that rotten dad take me away." My son didn't just convey his feelings to me, he also gestured with his little hands, trying to break free from the nanny's embrace and run toward me. His adorable expression instantly melted my heart, and I resolved that I would never let him come to harm, even at the cost of my own life. I deliberately enlisted a friend to pose as a major investor, then transferred the company's existing liquid assets to an overseas entity under the pretext that the investor required collateral. This foreign company was one I had recently acquired specifically to siphon off funds. Next, I'll dispose of certain fixed assets and properties that can be quickly liquidated, swiftly transferring the funds out. This company grew to its current scale solely through my efforts and the emergency funds from my parents' inheritance. Naturally, I'll reclaim what rightfully belongs to me. After all, I need to secure the maximum financial support for my son's future stability. Since Carter was solely focused on taking the company public, he genuinely believed I was raising funds and never suspected anything, so everything proceeded smoothly. But that day, the nanny called me, saying our son had vanished. I was terrified and rushed home immediately. When I arrived, I found Carter sitting leisurely on the sofa, smoking a cigarette. He didn't even lift his eyelids when he heard me come in, only speaking in a sinister tone. "Honey, you must be worried sick. Worried about our son, right?" "Don't worry, honey, our son is just fine. As long as you don't get any funny ideas, he'll be back with you soon enough." I immediately grew wary. "What do you mean by that?" Carter's smile turned even more sinister. "Honey, I think I should be the one asking you that. You secretly bought a small company overseas, then brought it into our family business as a partner to siphon off our funds. What are you trying to do? Leave me and take our son with you?" Carter smugly raised his index finger, waving it right in front of my face. No, 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 honey, you absolutely mustn't joke like that. I love you so much, there's no way I'd ever let you leave my side." "Fine, Carter. You won't let me leave your side, huh? Then just disappear completely." It seems my plan has been leaked, which is why Carter is using my son to pressure me. What should I do? How can I keep him in check and get my son back to me first? After a few seconds of mental processing, I plastered on a smile and said, "Honey, you must be misunderstanding something. I love you so much, how could I ever do such a thing? I'd never leave you, not even in death." Carter stared intently at my face and smiled. "That's good to hear. But why did you buy such a small company overseas and then pretend to be a major financing partner for our company? You transferred all the company's liquid cash into it. Honey, you're such a smart person, why would you do something so pointless? If you say you had no motive, I won't believe you." I looked utterly sincere as I declared with righteous indignation, "Of course there's a purpose. I'm doing this to attract major partners. It's just like how salespeople need shills, I have to show other investors that our company has the capability to pull this off." I stared wide-eyed, tears streaming down my face as I demanded, "Husband, don't you trust me at all? Even if you suspect me, you should have asked me first. How could you take our son and use him to threaten me?" The more I cried, the more heartbroken I became. "You've really broken my heart. Don't you love me at all? How could you possibly do something so hurtful?" Hearing this, Carter immediately backtracked. "Honey, you've got the wrong idea. It was just a slip of the tongue, I was just joking around. Our baby's at my parents' place. Grandpa and Grandma just missed their grandson." Carter took my hand and said tenderly, "Honey, how could I not trust you? You're the one I trust most. I'm mostly afraid of my wife, you shoulder everything alone and tell me every hardship, which breaks my heart. That's why I said what I did, just to give you a little scare." I quickly pressed, "What about the baby? When will he be coming back from Grandma and Grandpa's? Honey, I really miss him so much." Carter reached into his pocket, tapping away at something as he smiled at me. "I'll be back soon. I know you love our son, honey, how could I possibly keep him away from you for long? Oh, and when will that cash flow you transferred out come back? The company's cash flow is really tight right now." Seeing Carter's wary gaze, I smiled reassuringly and explained, "We were about to transfer it back immediately, but we were afraid someone might notice something amiss. The transfer is already in progress, but due to the complex procedures for overseas accounts, it hasn't reached the group account yet." Hearing this, Carter pressed his hand hard against his pocket. Soon after, the nanny came in through the door, carrying her son. I rushed over excitedly to hug my son, while Carter said beside me, "Honey, see? I never doubted you. Our son just went to his grandparents' house. How could I ever let him leave you? We'll always be the happiest family of 3, never to be separated." No sooner had Carter finished speaking than his son's babbling thoughts echoed, "Mommy, this bad daddy is lying to you. I'm not going to see Grandpa and Grandma at all, that bad man is hiding me in some strange place. Wah, Mommy, I thought I'd never see you again. Baby's so scared." My son clung tightly to me, rubbing my face with his little hands as if trying to express his hurt and fear. Seeing my son like this, my heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. I blamed myself for being such an inadequate mother, letting my son suffer this way. Watching Carter standing nearby, grinning like an idiot, only made my rage boil over. It's all because of you, Carter. I won't let you off the hook. Alright, honey, hand the boy back to the nanny. Auntie Nanny is the professional here, your little one's acting up. Following Carter's gaze, I noticed this nanny wasn't the usual evening caregiver, but rather a rather sturdy woman. I asked, what about the previous nanny? Did you replace her? Carter cleared his throat, that nanny wasn't professional, so I let her go. I hired 2 more nannies, plus the existing daytime nanny. It's like my son has 3 nannies now, they rotate in shifts, with 2 attending to him at a time. Oh. Both of you taking care of the boy together every single time? Looks like you can't bear to be apart from your little sweetheart for even a second. I see right through it but won't call you out, just quietly worry inside. With no one on our side, won't the boy be completely under Carter's control? The sturdy nanny received Carter's instructions and immediately reached out to take the child. Carter, holding the documents, wanted to discuss the company's IPO with me. Honey, the company is going public in Hong Kong next week. Even though you're incredibly capable, I still feel uneasy. Let's go over every detail together so we don't run into any problems later. I had absolutely no desire to engage with her, but I couldn't just brush him off. After discussing the company's IPO, I took advantage of Carter's good mood and suggested, honey, you go to Hong Kong next week. I won't be joining you. Our son can't be away from his parents, he's too young to travel long distances. He'll have to stay home, and I'll be here to take care of him. Carter's expression immediately soured as he said, displeased, at such an important moment, our family absolutely must be together. Besides, with your incredible abilities, how could you not go? Don't worry, honey, I've already booked a top-of-the-line helicopter. It's incredibly smooth. Son will be perfectly fine on it. I clutched Carter's arm, my eyes brimming with tears. Honey, our son is still so young. I can't let him take even the slightest risk. I'll stay home with him. You go. Carter stated in an unquestionable tone, there's absolutely no danger. I'm bringing all 3 nannies and 2 additional caregivers from home, plus I've hired a large contingent of bodyguards. Rest assured, it will be completely and absolutely safe. Seeing my silence, Carter added, if you're still worried, we can leave our son with my parents. His own grandparents taking care of him is just as good. I'll hire a few more top-notch nannies and caregivers, they'll look after him far better than his own parents could. Besides, won't we be back soon anyway? Should I leave it at Carter's parents' place? That would be even less secure than keeping it with me. If he hides it, I'll never find it anywhere. So I flatly refused, let's bring our son along. You're right, honey, at such an important moment, our whole family should be present together. Carter was smug as he wrapped his arms around me and kissed me relentlessly, smearing my face with saliva. I endured the disgust and played along, all to time my escape with my son from this misery. What Carter craved most now was a successful IPO that would bring in massive funding, and I was determined to make sure he never got his wish. I paid top dollar to hire the best online troll army and undercover photographers. I also enlisted friends to bring in numerous influencer media outlets and super paparazzi to trail Carter every step of the way. These private investigators and paparazzi certainly didn't disappoint. On the way to Hong Kong, they secretly filmed numerous videos of Jean Carter getting cozy with his young lover. The influencer I hired immediately exposed the news online. A city's famously devoted CEO was caught cheating with another woman. Carter's image as a devoted husband shattered instantly, and scandals erupted overnight. Given this situation, even if the company successfully goes public, it won't achieve strong results or secure funding. That evening, when Zhao Carter returned home, I was holding our son and trying to soothe him. Our eyes met, and I confronted him directly, husband, is everything that's been exposed online true? Have you really been secretly seeing this woman behind my back? Please tell me the truth. I gazed at my son's little face and said, look at our son, how peacefully he sleeps, how adorable he is. How could you bear to neglect him like this, so utterly consumed by your secret trysts with that other woman? Carter felt uneasy, but he still put on a brave front. Honey, how could you possibly believe what those unscrupulous media outlets say? They must be paid posts from our competitors, just to smear us. Carter then sweet-talked her. Honey, our top priority right now is ensuring the company's successful IPO and making this Hong Kong trip a success. We absolutely can't let our enemies break us down so easily. I feigned anger. The media reports are so detailed and specific, they don't seem fake at all. How am I supposed to believe you? Moreover, I've confirmed with the bodyguards and butler that the woman in the photo was on the same helicopter as you. She's supposedly our son's nanny. Summon all the nannies here, I want to meet this woman personally. Carter shouted in a high-pitched voice, cut the nonsense. What are you imagining? I'm so devoted to you. I report every little thing to you, how could I possibly have time to fool around with some wild woman? After all these years together, I know the louder he shouts, the more guilty he feels. Sure enough, Carter even broke out in a barely noticeable sheen of sweat on his forehead. Even though Carter was feeling guilty, he still tried to pressure me. Honey, you can't pour oil on the fire right now. We need to hold a press conference. You have to appear on camera to prove that all this media coverage and trending topics are fake. A crystal clear tear rolled down my cheek, my expression betraying deep hurt. Are you saying I have to play the loving couple with you on camera? You didn't even bother to explain properly, just brushed me off like this? Do I have to catch you and that woman in bed before you'll stop denying it? Carter snatched our son from my arms without a shred of remorse. He stared straight into my eyes and threatened, Emily, don't forget your place. You're my wife, and you have to stand by me. You have to solve these problems for me. Carter turned and handed his son to the bodyguard behind him, instructing, take my son to the guest house. The nanny is there. Hand him over to her. I exploded in anger. Carter, what do you think you're doing? Are you now so despicable that you'd brazenly use your son to threaten me? Carter began to threaten me outright. Remember, he's our son, not just yours. Only when we're happily together can our son stay by our side. If you no longer want to be happily together with me, then our son won't be in your life. I laughed through my tears. Carter, you've finally shown your true colors, haven't you? I'd love to ask you, how did you manage to become so shameless? Carter snorted coldly. Emily, have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror? A woman with your ordinary looks and average figure, do you really think you're good enough for me? It's your good fortune that I took an interest in you. You should be grateful, not yelling at me like this. Carter gripped my hand tightly and ordered me fiercely, go change your clothes right now. I've already arranged for a bunch of reporters. The press conference starts in 2 hours. You have to be camera ready and cooperate with me. You must tell everyone that all those smear articles about me are fake. We're incredibly in love. I love you more than life itself. I was shaking with rage at Carter, but thinking of my son, I had no choice but to give in to him. I quickly went upstairs and changed into a business suit. When Carter saw me come downstairs, he roughly yanked me into his luxury car, making me memorize the script he'd prepared for me the entire way. Seeing that I had already memorized these lines perfectly, Carter warned me menacingly, Emily, I'm warning you, don't say anything out of turn in front of the cameras, or you'll never see your son again. I stared intently into Carter's eyes and demanded, Carter, you're being outrageously arrogant. I'm the child's mother too, just because you say I can't see him, does that mean I can't? Do you think the law is just for show? Carter let out a cold laugh. Emily, you've been in the business world for years, yet you're still so naive. Carter's very hair seemed to bristle with smugness as he flicked his bangs aside. The law isn't set in stone, there are loopholes to exploit. Besides, you've got neither power nor influence. In this place where you're all alone, where in Hong Kong could you possibly find your child? With my extensive connections, hiding someone is child's play. Rest assured, I'll make sure you never see your son again. Humph. Think you can cover up everything? I'll expose this to the media and take legal action. Then you'll have no choice but to hand over your son. How naive. Utterly naive. If you push me to this, can you guarantee I'll return the child intact? If he's missing a few parts, won't you be heartbroken? I was furious. I swung my palm hard at him, yelling as I struck, Carter, you're worse than an animal. But my strength was no match for Carter's. He easily pinned both my arms down. Trying to attack me? You're just delusional. Obeying me is your only option. Seeing Carter's terrifying face, I felt a chill run down my spine. To placate him for the moment, I had no choice but to nod obediently. I'll do as you say, honey. I'll do whatever you want. I'll make sure you succeed and gain even more wealth. Carter was overjoyed, opening his gaping maw and cackling with delight. After laughing, he reached out to ruffle my hair and coaxed me, sweetheart. Don't worry. Whatever wealth I have is yours too. The three of us are the picture of happiness. Once I'm rich, I'll make sure you become the most elegant and distinguished CEO's wife. I knew full well he was deceiving me again, but I forced myself to play along. We'll always be the happiest family. Soon enough, the car pulled up to the press conference venue. Carter swept me into his arms, pushed me onto the stage, and began his performance. After finishing his part, he immediately handed me the microphone, his eyes signaling me to speak. I grabbed the microphone, cleared my throat, and shouted at the beaming Carter, I always thought I had the happiest family, but it turns out it was all a sham. My husband, who made all those promises, was having an affair with our son's nanny right under my nose, and I was completely oblivious. Thanks to the media exposing this, I finally learned the truth. Yet my hypocritical husband dared to threaten me with our son, forcing me to lie and pretend we're in love in front of everyone. Listen to this recording. With that, I pulled out the voice recorder and swiftly pressed play. Carter's face instantly turned ashen. He frantically tried to cover my mouth and snatch my voice recorder. But the entertainment media, desperate for front-page headlines, immediately rushed forward to shield me. I proceeded to recount in full detail to the media all of Carter's treacherous and heartless deeds. These entertainment reporters were all indignant, voicing their outrage on my behalf. Emily, you worked your fingers to the bone to turn a failing company around and build it into what it is today, yet now you're facing such treatment and betrayal. Emily, we support you getting a divorce. You absolutely must secure custody of the child and get them back. With a boss like that, this company doesn't deserve to be listed. Carter was furious, screaming like a madman, none of this is true. She's a wicked woman, he's framing me. Still won't admit it? Then let's all take a look at the big screen. With that, I pressed the remote control button for the conference's large display. The large screen soon displayed the compromising video of Carter and the nanny. Not only did it confirm the affair between Carter and this woman, but it also proved that Carter had exploited me and fed on my flesh. The crowd below the stage murmured in disapproval. One righteous soul even stepped forward and shouted, Tisk, TSK, TSK. What a despicable man. Ugh. He's worse than a freeloader, he deserves to die. Carter had completely frozen in shock. After regaining his senses amid everyone's scorn, the enraged Carter dragged me out of the press conference. He dragged me into a corner, his bloodshot eyes wide as he threatened me, Emily, do you really never want to see your son again? You better tell everyone it was you who deliberately smeared me, that none of this is true. Otherwise, I guarantee you'll never see your son again. Facing Carter's son, I held my own son hostage. Yet I merely gave a cold smile. Carter, why don't you make a call and verify it, see if your son is still in your custody? Carter's bloodshot eyes widened further, making him look like a demon. He immediately frantically searched his pockets for his phone and dialed the head bodyguard at top speed. He bellowed into the phone, where's my son? Is he still at the guest house? The head bodyguard stammered, boss, the young master, has already been taken away. Carter looked like he could eat someone alive. I hired hundreds of bodyguards, and you're all useless? How could hundreds of people fail to guard a single child? You signed a military pledge, do you want me dead? The security chief was on the verge of tears, the police came to take him away. We dared not stop them. Carter immediately lunged at me, gripping my arms tightly and shaking my body violently. He seemed utterly possessed, bellowing at me, "Emily, how did you find out where my son is? How did you manage to get the Hong Kong police to do your bidding? Tell me. Tell me. Tell me." Of course I didn't tell him. Instead, I mustered every ounce of strength to swing my leg out and deliver a vicious kick straight to his groin. Carter howled in pain, naturally releasing his grip on me. Seizing the moment, I unleashed a flurry of slaps across his face. Force begets force. I slapped him with all my might, nearly wringing my hand off. Carter was already reeling from my blows, so I went wild, biting, kicking, punching, and choking him. Soon he was like a rat in a bellows, scrambling for cover. I certainly couldn't be bothered to argue with him. I turned and walked straight out. I was in such a hurry to pick up my son. I headed straight for the police station, and sure enough, I soon saw my son grinning like a fool at me. Thanks to my son's inner thoughts, I finally learned that Carter had hidden him in that place in Hong Kong. My parents had visited Hong Kong during their lifetime and made a close friend who was a police officer there. It was this connection that provided me with the assistance I needed to bring my son back this time. The police officer and several colleagues drove me straight to the airport, so I was able to board the international flight smoothly with my son. Though I've left the country, I've already taken care of all my affairs back home. A barrage of paid commenters and media outlets had long since drowned out Carter, who had become notorious. As for the company going public, that was nothing but wishful thinking. I had already filed complaints with the relevant authorities, and naturally, the Carter family's company listing was terminated. Before leaving, I secretly disclosed the company's financial situation to all our funding partners and lending banks, informing them that Carter Company's funds were on the verge of running dry. Now that Carter is completely embroiled in scandal and the company's IPO is utterly out of the question, these investors and lending banks have naturally demanded that Carter immediately return the funds. Overnight, Carter's company was besieged by creditors demanding repayment, while clients and suppliers rushed to terminate contracts. With his options exhausted, Carter had no choice but to file for bankruptcy. At that very moment, I was abroad, enjoying precious family time with my son. Long before leaving the country, I had sold off all our household belongings and transferred every penny I'd saved to my aunt living abroad. Childless herself, she treated me like her own daughter, so my son and I were assured of a worry-free future. Before the divorce, I had also authorized a lawyer in China to handle my divorce case with full authority. The lawyer had already filed for divorce on my behalf with the court. The lawyer relayed to me that Carter had been trying to contact me, wanting to meet. Naturally, I refused without a second thought. All I could think about was getting the divorce proceedings started as soon as possible so we could finalize our separation from Carter. To my surprise, Carter actually agreed to the divorce in court, so I was quickly released from the marriage. My son is mine, of course. Now that my son and I have money to spend and no deadbeat around, we're living quite happily